Hey everybody, hope you're having a good day today. I'm coming to you today outside in this little windy weather. It seems like the wind's always blowing here at my house. And we have a new kitten that's meowing like crazy because I'm out here. So anyways, you may hear her throughout the video. Alright, so today we are going to talk about trash and what happens to our trash, okay? So when you get your trash can full at your house, what happens to it? Well, for you guys who live in the city, you set yours out on the curb and the garbage truck comes by and picks it up, right? But if you live out in the county like I do, then when our trash cans are full, we have to take ours to the convenience center. Okay, so do you know what happens to it after you take it to the convenience center? If you don't know what a convenience center is, that's a fancy name for a dump. That's what we call it, taking our trash to the dump. So what happens to it when it gets to the dump? Well, garbage trucks have to come and they will collect all of the trash and they will take it. There's another cat, sorry. And they will take the trash to the landfill, okay? So we do have a landfill in Cott County, but our landfill is a diversion landfill. So our trash does not actually go to the landfill here in Cott County. Our trash goes to either Hamlin County or Jefferson County. So when they get there with our trash, the dump truck takes and gets weighed as it goes in. Then it goes and it dumps the trash in the right place. And then it comes back out and it gets weighed again. They subtract the two weights and they figure out how much trash was dumped. From that then, they charge the county a tipping fee to get rid of this trash. So we have a hauling fee and a tipping fee that we have to pay to get this trash into a landfill. So there's a lot of different things that people do. The most common thing around down in the south and areas is a landfill, but there's other places that have incinerators that burn the trash for them, and then they take the ash and they use that in a landfill too. So we're going to kind of talk about landfills a little bit. We're going to talk about a way to get rid of the trash and how to reduce trash. We've talked a lot about reduce, reuse, recycle. So we're going to talk about how to reduce trash so we're not making so much, okay? So it's, it seems like that, we hope that through these videos and through going into the schools and everything, that kids, as they grow up, they make the choices to reduce, reuse, recycle. We hope that they go home and persuade their parents to reduce, reuse, and recycle. The more we get our message out, we hear lots of people who are trying to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So we're going to talk about how to deal with this trash, okay? So many communities, just like ours, depend on landfills to take care of their garbage. And we don't just call that a landfill, we call that a sanitary landfill. Okay, because it's a clean, it's supposed to be a clean, sanitary way. Sanitary means clean. A clean way to dispose of our trash, okay? So, how is a landfill made? Well, if you've been in class with Miss Greta and I, then you have made a very yummy landfill that was made out of chocolate and candies and different things like that. But I'm actually going to make one today that's not so yummy, okay? So, I'm just going to take an old peanut butter jar that I had, and you guys can make these too, and we'd love to see pictures. And if you wanted to make the edible version, I'll tell you the edible version as we go along, and you could make one and show us, send us pictures. We'd love to see you guys making this stuff, okay? So I'm just going to take a peanut butter container. And so a landfill is pretty much just a place where they dig lots of holes in the ground. Okay, it's a big hole in the ground. So it starts with a hole in the ground, which is this. If you were doing an edible version, you would want to put yours in a cup or a bowl, definitely, okay? Alright, so to get a landfill, it's not just a hole in the ground that you just bury dirt. There's a lot more to a landfill than just that, okay? So it's made up of lots of layers, but before you ever get started, there's a lot of things that has to be done to prepare this hole to receive trash. I know that sounds kind of weird, but that's why it's called a sanitary landfill. Trying to keep all that pollution and stuff out of our groundwater, out of the ground, out of the air, and out of surface water as well, okay? So what they do first is they take hard, compacted dirt. Okay, so I was going to get some clay, but where it's not rained in a couple of days, ours is we have clay around here and it's kind of hard on the surface. Anyways, we're going to pretend that this is hard compacted dirt, okay? Now, they take in and they put sand. I'm going to grab a little bit of sand down here. They put some sand on top of that. Then they put some rocks in there. And all of this stuff is to take and filter out the leachate. If you've ever gotten rid of trash at your house and you take it out of the house and it's dripping, that dripping trash juice, as I so lovingly call it, is actually a leachate. So all of this stuff is going to absorb. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the plastic layer down. Let me get this sand and dirt out. Let's start sand and rocks out. Whoops. Sorry about that. Okay, so when they put the hard compacted dirt down, then they put a layer of plastic. So I've got some plastic down here. This plastic is tear-proof, leak-proof, because we don't want any of these lovely trash juices that I was just talking about, this leachate, to get into the groundwater and into the dirt, okay? So then we put our sand and our rocks in, okay? I think my sand got a little bit of dirt in it, but that's okay. All right, so this sand and these rocks are going to keep that trash juice from leaking so quickly. It kind of acts like an absorbent and absorbs it, okay? So then they put in a little leachate pipe. So we're going to pretend that this little piece of straw is our leachate pipe. We put that in there. That leachate pipe is going to suck out all those leachate juices and pipe it over into a leachate pond. Now this leachate pond is also made at the bottom with that same tear-proof, leak-proof plastic, because we don't want all those trash juices. I mean, you know what you guys throw away, but I don't know, you know, and I know what I throw away, but I don't know what somebody else throws away. There's some pretty nasty stuff gets thrown in the trash. I mean, when you go to the convenience center and you throw your trash in there, sometimes it smells pretty bad, doesn't it? So we want all of those trash juices, all those leachates, to get pumped out into this leachate pond, okay? So they layer it with tear-proof, leak-proof plastic, because we don't want that stuff getting into our groundwater supply. All right, so after you do all that work, then it's time to start taking and putting trash in. So I'm just going to use little cut up bits of paper, and if you did the edible version of this, you would want to put an Oreo in the bottom for your compacted dirt. You would want to put a fruit roll up for your plastic. You would want to put in crumbled graham crackers for the sand. You would want to put in raisins for your rocks, and then you would want to put a Twizzler in for your leachate pipe. Okay, sound good already? All right, so that's the edible version. I'm making a non-edible version. All right, so dump trucks are going to come in every day with all of the trash that they've collected from the convenience centers, they've collected from the curbsides and all that, and they're going to dump it into this hole that has been prepared at the landfill, okay? So I'm just going to use some bits of paper, because you can also use this as an experiment too, and you can kind of see how fast this stuff is actually going to decompose when it gets into a landfill, okay? So I have put some bits of paper in. So at the end of the day, there's going to be a bulldozer that's going to come and is going to cover up all of this trash with a fresh layer of dirt. Now remember at the beginning of the video when I told you that some places burn their trash? Sometimes if there's a community close by that incinerates their trash, they'll use that ash to cover it rather than the dirt. Okay? Alright, so the bulldozer comes in, puts a layer of dirt on that, packs it all down tight. The next day, the dump trucks come in, they put more trash in there, and you could use all kinds of different things if you wanted to. You could use plastics, you could put food in there, and you could really, you know, let it sit for 2 or 3 weeks and check and see how it's decomposing, okay? So then a dump truck comes back in and puts another layer of dirt. So you see right here we have trash, dirt, and that would keep going until this landfill is completely full. So when it is full, they're going to come in and they're going to put another layer of plastic, this tear-proof, leak-proof plastic on top. Then they would layer it with a whole lot of dirt. A whole lot. And they would close it off and they would put a pipe in the top. Now this pipe is a methane pipe. So the methane pipe is going to collect methane gases. So where does this methane gas come from? Well, when things start to decompose, they let off a gas, methane gas. It's the same gas, methane gas, that our bodies produce. So anyways, they start letting off this methane gas, and so these pipes will collect this methane gas, and they will, a lot of places will pipe it in, and they use it to make electricity for people's homes. Some people just burn it off. It just depends. All right, so when you have a full landfill, then what do you do? You have to go on to the next cell in that landfill until the whole landfill is full. And then when the whole landfill is full, you have to find another place to make a landfill. Takes away animals' habitats and takes away, you know, farmland from farmers. And you have to worry about, you know, you think about all of this trash that's dripping out, this leachate that can get into your groundwater and make your groundwater dirty. It can get into the surface water and make your surface water dirty. Plus you have this methane gas that it's trying to collect. And even though all of these things, you know, work pretty well, they're still not 100%. And I'm sure that there's still things that leak out into groundwater and leak out into the air. So, if you were doing the edible version, okay, after you put in your Twizzler, you would put in all kinds of candies, and that would be your trash. And then you would either cover it with, if you wanted to cover it with chocolate pudding or chocolate ice cream, and then to top it off, you would put some whipped cream on top, and you would put a little straw on top, and you could have you a yummy little dessert, okay? But this one is definitely not yummy. So, when the concept of landfills came about, I'm sure a lot of people probably thought that when you're burying trash, that burying it should help it to decompose quicker. But if you remember in one of our other episodes, if you watched it, one of our other videos, I'm sorry, I'm talking like we're a TV show. I about feel like as many videos as we've done. If you watched another video where we did the history of garbage, if you remember me talking about the first garbologist, when he dug down into a landfill, he found newspaper that looked like, you know, you could still read it. It was 40 years old, but you could still read it. And hot dogs that looked like the day they'd been cooked. So we're actually finding that landfills may actually be preserving the trash instead of helping it to decompose. All right. So, sorry about that. My cat knocked my phone down. All right. So, this is our option for dealing with our trash. And I said before, you know, we have to pay a tipping fee. We have to pay a hauling fee. So, that costs our county money. So, what can we do to make less trash? Okay. So, you could do an experiment. Not sure that your parents would let you, but you could, or at least you could think about it. What if you didn't take any of your trash to the dump for like a whole week, to the convenience center for a whole week? And then you could collect it and weigh it and see how much trash you're actually taking to the dump. Then you could look at it and you could, and I know Miss Greta and I have both done lessons where we've shown trash, actual trash from, I think it was my house, pictures from trash from my house, where I didn't compost, I didn't recycle, and we showed you all the things that get thrown away. What if you weighed all that and found out how much it weighed, and then you decided, hey, what if I recycled my plastics? What if I recycled my paper? What if I composted my food waste? Now remember though, you can't compost meat and bones and dairy and stuff like that. Only your fruit and vegetable scraps and your plant scraps and stuff like that. So what if you decided to pull all of that stuff out? If you pull all that stuff out and then weighed the things that actually could be thrown away, you should have a lot less trash that would be going to the landfill. So that would extend the life of your landfill. Plus, the county wouldn't be paying so much in hauling and tipping fees, would they? So that's just something to think about. For places that have incinerators turn huge piles of garbage into smaller piles of ash. So it definitely weighs less and there's less in volume as well. I know in our county, most of our convenience centers, there's a couple that still don't have compactors, but they have compactors to smush that trash and make it as small in volume as they possibly can so it won't take up as much room in a landfill. But we really need to be conscious about how much space we're taking up in a landfill and trying our best to do things to reduce the trash, to reuse the trash, and to recycle the trash, okay? All right. So, I want to read you real quick just a little story about a ship back in 1987. I know that was a long time ago, but it was called the Mobro. I guess that's how you pronounce it. So during the spring of 1987, the small town of Islip, New York hit national headlines. The media focused not on the people of the town, but on its garbage. There was nearly 3,200 tons of trash on this ship. Okay, there's 2,000 pounds in each ton, and there was 3,200 tons. You're looking at almost 10,000 pounds of trash. This is ridiculous. So the landfills near Islip were filled beyond capacity. They could not hold any more. They were full. They'd been topped off, and that was it. So Islip officials made a deal with Jones County, North Carolina to handle Islip's trash. So when the Mobro, the barge that had these tons and tons of trash on them, reached its destination, Jones County officials in North Carolina refused to accept the trash because the trash held hospital waste and other non-paper trash as well. Fearing that they would put this trash into the landfill and it might get into the county water supplies and all that stuff, the North Carolina County sent the Mobro away. Okay, so for 4 months, the barge traveled along the Atlantic coast to the Gulf of Mexico, trying to find a state willing to dispose of this garbage. They could not find a state in the United States, at least on the coast, that would take their trash. Okay, they even approached Mexico and Belize and the Bahamas, and nobody would let them dispose of this trash. So they just wandered around the ocean for all this time trying to find somewhere to get rid of their trash. So finally, after frustration level just hit as much as they could hold, they made their 6,000-mile voyage back to New York Harbor, and the New York officials had to figure out what to do with this smelly cargo. I mean, think how long that was probably out on that boat. Ew, it probably stunk really bad, okay? So, they decided that in New York, they would take this trash and they would put it in the incinerator and they would burn it. So, the 3,200 tons of trash turned into 400 tons of trash. So, 3,200 down to 400. That's a lot more manageable, but that's still a lot of trash. 400 tons times 2,000, golly, that's like what, 80,000 pounds or something? And I know I done my math wrong before, that was 100,000, but anyways, that's still a lot of trash. 3,200 tons to 400 tons. So then they took this ash and they dumped it in the landfill back in Islip. Okay, so thinking about that story, and that was a true story, that should make us all the more want to find ways to reduce, reuse, and recycle for sure. Okay, so there's some really easy things that we can do to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So we don't recycle food cans around here, like the food that you buy in the store that has corn in it, canned corn and canned green beans and stuff like that. Okay, so what you could do with those, and we don't recycle glass around here either. So I'm just going to tell you, I didn't bring them out to show you because my husband and my daughter are working on my Mother's Day present in the basement, and I was banished from there, and the stuff I needed was in my basement. So I'll just have to tell you about it, okay? All right, because I'm not allowed to see. So it better be good. That's all I can say. I'm just kidding. I'm aggravating. Okay, so we took, because I homeschool my daughter, so we needed things to organize our homeschool materials, like our pencils and our crayons and our markers, and I'm just one of these people that I like to have everything within reach and all that stuff. So we took a lot of the jars that I couldn't reuse for canning. They might have had like little olives in them. Some of them were like jelly jars, you know, they weren't, but they were small necks and stuff. So we took and we covered those with a really pretty ribbon, and that's our pencil holders. We took some of the steel can food cans, and we put ribbons around them, and we tucked it over the edge so that she wouldn't cut her hands when she put it in there to get a crayon out or whatever. So we made a nice little pretty set of things to set on her desk that was made from things that should have been thrown away. Okay, so there's all kinds of little things you can think about. You can use any jar for storage containers, for buttons and craft supplies and all kinds of stuff like that. So don't toss things away. Keep them and hold on to them, because you can use them. My husband uses, I keep all this stuff, he puts his screws in there. He gets them, and sorts them out by sizes and numbers and all that stuff. So anyways, he has all of his stuff just like in sour cream containers and yogurt containers and stuff like that. So don't throw those guys away because they're great for organizing. And I know a lot of people's been spring cleaning since we've been in our homes quarantined and stuff. So when you're organizing, use some of that stuff instead of throwing it away, okay? So another thing while we're talking about that, another thing that you can do, the things that, you know, people are spring cleaning, they're getting rid of things. Find you a local ministry who will take them. I know Empower-Cott County has opened up their thrift store again, so they are accepting donations. So take that stuff to Empower-Cott County. It goes for a great cause. They use the profits from that to send people to drug rehab and things like that. So take it there and give it to them instead of throwing it into the landfill. Let's keep as much as we can out of the landfill, okay? All right, guys. Well, Miss Greta will be back with you tomorrow, and I will see you guys on Thursday. I'll actually be back here in just a few minutes. I'm going to do my kindergarten readiness video for the month of May, and she will be with you tomorrow, and I will see you Thursday. And one day this week we'll do a video and we'll announce who the winners are of our Funky Junk Art Contest. Okay, so we're still getting some votes in here and there from our board members. They're voting and choosing, and so some of them need a little bit more time. So towards the end of the week we'll do a video and we'll tell who won. Okay. All right, you all have a wonderful afternoon, wonderful evening. You stay safe and stay well, and we will see you guys later. Bye.